What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports podcast. I'm William Locke, coming to you live from Chicago, Illinois. And as always, we have Luis Bronco joining me today for our MLB recap. Luis, how you doing?
How we doing? Happy Thursday. Another half of the week done. You know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, top of the morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. We had an all-time text from you in the group chat this morning. I'm just going to quote it. We were arguing, you and Ramon, about OKC, and you said, quote, "We are deeming wins equal how good a team is." And I would say I concur with that statement. Indeed, wins do determine how good a team is.
But you're saying they're like top of all time, but like wins do not quantify how good they are all time.
Statistically, they are one of the best teams we have seen.
Bulls, the 72-10 Bulls are better than the 73-9 Warriors. One less win, and they're a better team.
The Warriors, Bulls, OKC's not in that conversation, but they're in, I don't know, top 10 or something.
No,
one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen. See, the Thunder, and we will interrupt our MLB programming briefly for an NBA take here. The Thunder have reached a level of greatness that is very hard to reach, and that is they have reached a point to where people aren't even tuning into the games because it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win, and they're probably going to win by 20.
Because nobody wants to watch Shea. Nobody wants to watch Shea just chuck jumpers.
They got people complaining that the league needs to step in because they have a bunch of first-round picks in the future. They don't like the style of play they have. And I think OKC's got people big mad, and I think that is a level of greatness that only select few teams have reached. In my lifetime, the Warriors were there. You were there. I was there. Luis, don't act like we haven't been friends for 20-plus years. I know your takes in the past. You hated the Warriors when they were in it, and now you're praising them.
Yeah.
You would defend LeBron's teams to the death, and now you're not as high on LeBron all of a sudden.
Because what I'm saying is this team's not that good. This NBA Finals OKC series should be put on Tubi, PBS, and the CW. How bad it's going to be.
See, and this is my other take. If OKC had LA instead of OKC in front of their team name, then people would be locked into this.
Nobody wants to watch Lou Dort foul. Nobody wants to watch SGA chuck jump shots. Like, that's just not basketball.
And you were hyping up the 05 Pistons. People were saying the exact same thing about the Pistons when they were doing it. The NBA was a terrible brand of basketball in the early 2000s.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was. It was horrible.
The early 2000s teams would go ballistic on this OKC team.
Okay.
The Spurs, the Lakers, the Pistons, the Celtics, even that Magic team with Dwight Howard would have his way. Like Dwight Howard and Kevin Garnett would put Chet Holmgren in a hospital.
Revisionist history is crazy.
Dwight Howard was first team all defense. Even like the grit and grind Grizzlies would beat this team.
No chance.
Yes, they would.
The Grizzlies had the Thunder have the MVP of the league in a league with Giannis, Jokic, Luka. Who did the Grizzlies have on that team that could score with any of these players on OKC?
They played defense. They had Marc Gasol, Zebo. Playoff Zebo was next level.
I mean, I will defend those Grizzlies teams, but come on, give me a break.
Playoff Zebo is like the equivalent of like, I don't know, playoff like, what's the baseball equivalent? Like, I'm trying to think of a good baseball. Like, I don't know. Crap, I'm blanking right now, but just like
Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, Daniel Murphy.
2015 Linsanity run.
Yeah, but regardless of the fact, we are a baseball podcast. We'll leave NBA and basketball for professionals.
It does say Locked In Sports podcast, though. It's not just, if we wanted to branch out, we do football in the fall. So it's a sports podcast. We can talk about NBA if we want to. I think that's enough. I mean, we do have a lot to talk about with baseball.
I like parks. That's what I'll say. I like parks. I told somebody I like parks. I was like, "Oh, you like dog parks?" And I was like, "No, holy air ball. I like ballparks. I like MLB."
I have no idea what you mean by that. What do you mean?
You haven't seen the trend on Instagram Reels?
No.
You see, you need to tap in, my guy. We need to get you off that TV screen. We need you to tap in. Stop looking at those OKC stats and tap into the trends, like these marketing trends.
Well, what's the trend?
It's like, for example, there'll be a reel on Instagram, or I only do Instagram reels. I'm an avid Instagram reels type of guy.
Follow us on Instagram.
And there'll be like a girl or a guy or a group of people and be like, "Oh, like we're a fan of the club." and they'll do like quote rotations. Oh, the club, like dance club or something like that. And then they would post a video of them of a run club, and they would put holy airball.
Wow.
So,
I feel like a boomer I have no idea this was a thing.
you see, you called me a boomer this morning in the chat for saying my 2000s NBA basketball things. Now you're acting like a boomer with Instagram, man. And you're the one that does the clips and reels for us, man. Come on.
You do have the unk takes when it comes to basketball. But we do have a loaded pod. We got a lot to talk about. Midweek MLB recaps. We had our quarter century team podcast released earlier this week on Monday. If you missed that, it's evergreen. You can watch it whenever you would like. So I suggest you go back and watch it if you haven't already. We had a lot of fun, but we did take up a lot of time on that episode talking about that team. Took like 45 minutes to an hour. So we just wanted to take this podcast to dive deep into what we're seeing across the league, some takes that we have. I think there's going to be some hot takes dished out. Before we get started, as a reminder, as always, please hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Even if you aren't watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. We gained some over the week. We're up to, I think, 37 right now. So thank you all for smashing it. Continue to subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. But Luis, without further ado, are we starting with the Yankees as always?
It is that time of the podcast. It is the Yankees recap of the week. As always, we recap the Yankees to start the podcast because we have William, our Yankee fan aficionado. He's been a fan for all of his life. And as we do always, we recap the week that was with the Yankees. So this week, the Yankees headed out to Anaheim after a long, drawn-out series in Colorado, which they took 2 out of 3. The Yankees went out to Anaheim, in which these series had everything. Last night we had a fan run on the field in the middle of, I think it was the 6th or 7th, who nearly escaped. I don't know if you saw that clip. Did you see the clip of the guy almost escaping?
Briefly this morning, at the gym.
Yeah.
And I saw, was it Zach Neto and Ascara that we're watching?
Logan O'Hoppe.
Logan O'Hoppe. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so, again, Yankees had a series in Anaheim versus the Angels, and the Yankees swept. They won Monday 5-1. When they won Monday, Ryan Yarbrough was excellent. I know William didn't catch much of these games, so mainly I'm filling people in. Because it was past William's bedtime. Let's put it that way. West Coast William does not do West Coast William. He's not Will Warren.
I caught up in the mornings at the gym. Yeah, the condensed highlights and then all the interviews and stuff. And read the post game recap that Brian Hoke does on MLB.com. Shout out to him, does a great job covering the team. So yeah, I stayed up, watched the first hour of these games, and then went to bed. Luis watched the full ones, and then I caught up in the mornings. Just because it is a little bit past my bedtime. These West Coast games are a bit of a grind in terms of staying up to watch. So can't wait till they're back on the East Coast. I'll say that.
Hey, it's the last series in the West Coast this weekend. They got the Dodgers. We'll talk about that series a little bit later. But on Monday, they won 5-1. Ryan Yarbrough, man, he literally was cutting up. What a line. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned, 7 strikeouts, and 1 homer given up. And the pen also with De Los Santos, Mark Leiter Jr., and Luke Weaver shut down the last 3 innings. And like I said, Yarbrough was just incredible, incredible this week. At that point they had won 14 out of 18, and it was pretty much the Anthony Volpe game where Anthony Volpe hit a ball into the outfield, clearing the bases. They were bases loaded, making it 4-1 in the 4th. On Tuesday, the Yankees won again 3-2. With homers from Ben Rice, and Oswald Peraza hit a big home run late, which gave him a 3-0 lead. And again, Carlos Rodón. My tweets are stocking up in the drafts.
I think you might just need to delete those drafts.
Yeah, I think Carlos Rodón has earned himself, Bearded Rodón has earned himself some new light. And I know William's going to talk about how good Bearded Rodón's been, but what a play. Looking like prime Derek Jeter, making that field in that ball. Did you see that?
Yep.
Play?
Going to his right, a little bit of a jump throw to get him to get the runner at first. That was an impressive play by Rodón. I didn't know he had that athleticism. I don't think any of the team really thought he had that athleticism either.
emergency shortstop, maybe in case Volpe gets hurt. Maybe the Yankees just don't need to trade for a middle infielder.
Might need him to play some third base, second base.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it. But again, the Yankees on Tuesday clinched 7 straight series wins, and the funniest thing was that Yankees were up 3-0, and it was around midnight East Coast time, and I was falling asleep, and I was like, all right, it's the top of the 9th for the Yankees. I think they have this game under control. But in my back of my mind, I was like, I have a really watch it be the game that they blow tonight or that something interesting happens at the end, and I wake up the next morning and I have to watch the highlights. And of course, that's what happened. I had the feeling that Devin Williams was going to come in and absolutely just get shelled, and of course, allowed 2. And if it wasn't for an outstanding DJ LeMahieu play at second base where he had to stretch out, the Yankees would have been in real trouble on Tuesday night. And then finally, Wednesday, the Yankees won last night. They won 1-0. Game ended around midnight, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. The bullpen was incredible last night. I feel like we need to give hats off to the boys. I mean, the Yankees were down all their high leverage guys. Luke Weaver was not available. Johnny Loizaga was not available. And Devin Williams was not available due to the usage on Tuesday or Monday. And it was pretty much down to the other guys. And Hamilton, Tim Hill, and Mark Leiter Jr. all got the job done. Mark Leiter's breaking balls and splitters were just absolutely knee-buckling. And can we just also protect JC Escara at all costs? What a pitch framer. I know a lot of people were very mad at the strike zone last night, which I understandably so.
Yeah.
The way he was framing those pitches, which we'll talk about soon, was wow. He might be the best, one of the top 5 defensive catchers in baseball right now, easily. And we're going to have, and again, people want to defend Austin Wells, but man, it's getting really hard to keep Wells in the lineup the way JC's framing. And then the 2 or 3 quick things. Anthony Volpe, stack fly, brought in the run early on in the game, and then Aaron Judge was intentionally walked for his first 2 ABs by Ron Washington, which I thought it was pretty funny that the second time he was walked, I don't know if you saw this, but it was 2 outs. I think Cody Bellinger grounded out or flew out, and Ron Washington started to celebrate in the dugout, yes.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the intentional walks? People were getting mad on Twitter. I saw some people saying it's bad for the game, and I mean, my take is it's Ron Washington's job to allow or to try to win every single game possible, to do the things that are going to help the Angels win baseball games. And walking Aaron Judge to pitch to Cody Bellinger makes 100%, makes 100% sense, especially when you're trying to. Or especially when it's a lefty on lefty matchup with Kikuchi on Bellinger. No brainer to me. Base was open at first. Why, no disrespect to Cody Bellinger, but you'd rather pitch to Aaron Judge than Cody Bellinger 10 times out of 10. It's not even a debate. Ron Washington, one of the best managers in the sport, been in the game forever. I have no issue with it. Same thing happened to Barry Bonds. And we talked about this on previous episodes, at what point do you just start to walk Aaron Judge? So no issue with that at all. I think we might see more of it actually moving forward.
I mean, I'm just saying Aaron Judge has been the best hitter in the sport, and I have a take on Aaron Judge right here. I would walk him 100% because I am not scared of Cody Bellinger. He may be hitting hot, but I'd rather go at Cody Bellinger, and it's not like he's batting behind a Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, or Mookie Betts or somebody. It's Cody Bellinger. Yes, great player, but different stratospheres of players. I am low-key, in a sense, concerned with Aaron Judge right now. I think we might be incoming our first little slump with Aaron Judge. And I think the walks would have to do with it. And I'm just coming from a psychological standpoint. You're coming from a player's side. I think by walking him, you're taking him a little bit out of his rhythm, in my opinion, potentially. Because there were some pitches that were getting thrown, and he was striking out on sliders and splitters, and it wasn't they weren't mixed in. It was slider. I'm okay, that's kind of concerning. And I think we're entering that phase where he might be cooling off a little bit. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, I could see it. I understand not seeing pitches, just getting walked all the time could definitely have an effect on the batter's eye, or what you're doing at the plate. He's still hitting over, he's hitting 391 right now, which is down a little bit this week. But
that's what I'm saying.
He's Aaron Judge. Like, what's a slump for Aaron Judge? A slump for Aaron Judge is probably the best production a lot of players are going to have all season. So, and the rest of the lineup is stepping up anyways right now.
Of course. I mean, last night was tough, but I don't know. I just get the sense that, that they're mixing in a lot of more off-speed stuff, and he's falling for like the slider and the breaking balls. And I know Kikuchi has a really nice breaking ball, and Reed Detmers got a lot of run this series. And Reed Detmers has a lot of good, has a really good slider. I don't know. I'm just pointing it out, but let's just talk about the series. Let's get back to the biggest point. The biggest point of the Yankee series was that getting a win is highly, winning all three of these games. That's the difference between closing the division out in late August than in September. And I think that's, we're going to look back on the series and be like, wow, these games actually really helped. And Ryan Yarbrough, talk about it. This whole pitching staff. I think we're going to have a debate when Luis Gil comes back in June. He's due back probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe, tops. Mm-hmm. They said he's back throwing again on a mound. That I think the odd man out is Clarke Schmidt.
With what we've seen from Ryan Yarbrough recently, and obviously Fried, Rodón are locks, I think Will Warren has probably earned himself a spot in the rotation. Clarke Schmidt was great last night, 6 scoreless innings. Struggled with a little bit of traffic early on, but I thought he was strong. My favorite split in all of baseball is Ryan Yarbrough's fastball velo to average exit velocity. If you look at his Baseball Savant page, he's in the first percentile in fastball velocity. Average fastball velo is 87.6, and he's in the 99th percentile in average exit velocity. Hitters are hitting an average of 84.1 miles an hour off the bat against Ryan Yarbrough. That's just such an electric split. I mean, he's a junk ball pitcher. He's mixing in, cutters, sweepers, sinkers, and changeups, and kind of living on the edges, hitting his spots. He's a really awkward at bat, and Anthony Volpe kind of said so after the game because they faced him when he was on the Rays. He said, quote, "It's not a fun at bat from the other side." And, teammates would shake their head at the underwhelming velocity. And I can attest to this. I know I just played it in high school, whatever, but it was higher level high school baseball. And whenever we would, face a guy that was throwing harder, we kind of got used to that. And whenever a team would bring in a super slow ball pitcher, we'd struggle with that more than the higher velo that we were kind of consistently seeing. So, yeah, I think Ryan Yarbrough has been a revelation. I think he's earned himself a spot in the rotation. His ERA is down to a 3.06 on the season, and it's in the 2s in the month of May. He's getting a start against the Dodgers supposedly on Sunday, is what it's shaping up to be, which will be really interesting. He's going up against Yamamoto on Sunday Night Baseball, which is going to be probably his toughest start of the season, I would say. But yeah, Ryan Yarbrough and this pitching staff has been the story of the Yankees, I think, for the past month or so. Ever since, and this was after the Monday game, the Yankees starters lead Major League Baseball with a 2.37 ERA in May. They were at a 4.25 through the end of April. And let me just pull up the stat real quick to check where that ERA is at in the month of May now. 2.67 now. So they lead baseball by 13 points in ERA in May. Story of the season so far, I think, for the Yankees is what this rotation's been doing.
Yeah. In regards to Yarbrough, I'm just saying, the one pitcher that hasn't really tickled my pickle has been Clarke Schmidt. I think he's going to be the odd man out. And I think if we're looking at trades later on, I think he'll be the guy that will probably get dangled. Because I think there's more to work with Will Warren. And if Gil comes back close to Rookie of the Year. Yeah,
Schmidt's been strong still, so I think he's still a good trade candidate. What would your playoff roster or playoff rotation be right now?
Who's healthy? Is
everybody healthy, not except Cole.
And then, which I mean, we talked about it last time. Like we're robbed of a Cole-less team. So I think your 1, 2, 3 is you probably go Rodón 1, Fried 2, and your third one's probably Will Warren.
Rodón 1 over Fried.
Yeah, that's how it's always been.
Well, that's just the way it shake out with their rest and everything coming out of spring training. I think Fried would probably be the number one guy with Rodón going 2. But the question is, do you want to pitch 2 lefties in a row in a playoff series?
You want them both to pitch. I don't care if they're lefties. You want them both to pitch.
I would.
You want them both.
On what,
you want them both. But you can't put 1, 1, and 3. It's like you're starting this debate now. It's like the penalty kick in soccer. Do you want to take the first penalty kick or the 5th one? Like if you're the first one, cool, you're going to be guaranteed a chance. But if you're the 5th one, there's a chance you don't get the kick. So that's the same deal with 1 and 3. And if the series ends up going longer, you have a full arsenal of going, both of them later on in the series.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But if you pitch game 3, you're still guaranteed to start in the series. You really, most teams, it seems like, run with 3, maybe 4 starters in a playoff series. Certainly in the DS, it's going to be 3. I think it would probably be Fried, Rodón, and Gil if Gil comes back looking strong. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees wanted to slot Gil in as a game 2 starter just to break up the lefties.
I think Warren will be 3. I think there's so many things about Gil that we don't know that it'll just remain to be seen. I think it'll be 1, 2, 3 like that. I mean, it also depends who they trade for somebody, which as I think the season's progressing, I don't think they'll trade for anybody rotationally. I think they'll look more for bullpen and for a middle infield bat, right-handed bat. And I thought what was also interesting that we haven't talked about, good job. Like we've talked about the Angel series, there's nothing much to take away. Like the pitching was great. The lineup wasn't that great, but the pitching picked it up. So hopefully this weekend when they go up to Chavez Ravine, they could hit the ball against the Dodgers because you're going to need a hit against the Dodgers. You're not going to be able to win 1 or 2 run games with the Dodgers. That's just it's not going to work like that.
Yeah. 7 straight series wins. Sweep, obviously, of the Angels is huge. What were you going to say? Looked like you were getting something.
No, my interesting thing is I think the Orlando Arcia DFA was very interesting. He got released from the Braves, and so him getting released by the Braves was okay. That's something you could have seen coming. But then the Yankees and Mets were also involved in trying to get him into a deal. That clearly shows me that they're not happy with whatever's at third base. And you hear the whole report that Jazz is going to be playing third base today at Somerset in Double-A, I believe. Somerset's Double-A because Wilkes-Barre is the Triple-A. So it clearly just shows me that they expect no third base bats to be available, and no third base bats are going to be available at the deadline. And then it prevents the case that they're going to go look for somebody at second because DJ, I'm sorry, DJ's just terrible. He has a 44 WRC plus. He's just not cutting it. He's like a black hole in that middle of that lineup. And right now you have 2 black holes with third base. For as good as Oswald has been defensively, he's hitting 180, 170s. He finally hit a home run 2 nights ago, which was the difference. But if you're going to be a World Series contender and win the AL, and I think when you look at the whole landscape of the AL, the Yankees are the favorites. But when you want to win the World Series, you can't have somebody hitting sub 200. That's just not going to work. That's DFA levels. Tim Anderson got DFA'd for hitting sub 240 MLB average.
Yeah, Peraza's hitting 160. I just don't think there's going to be much available at the trade deadline. And we've kind of said this year over year at this point. But with the new expanded playoffs and the wild card series, there's so many teams that are just convincing themselves that they have a chance to make the playoffs and, get that extra playoff revenue. The only teams right now that are firmly out of the playoff hunt, and I would probably put that mark at 8+ games back in the wild card, Baltimore, White Sox, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Colorado. Those are the only teams right now that are guaranteed sellers at the trade deadline. and what do those teams have that you would want? I do think the White Sox have some pieces that people would want. I don't think Baltimore is going to really be sellers because they're going to convince themselves that they have a chance next season and they'll just ultimately run it back. But like the Marlins, the Pirates, there's not much there. It's a lot of it's just going to be bullpen help. I don't think there's going to be that many bats. And like the fact that the Cardinals are really good, like that throws a huge wrench in this year's trade deadline.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Last night I thought about this when I read the Jazz news, and I thought of a couple guys, and I'll give you my scenario pieces that I think could happen. A couple guys that the Yankees could try to get. I feel third base is a pipe dream. We'll talk about Arizona later. Eugenio Suarez. But how about these guys? Brandon Lau from Tampa at second. One. They also have a lot of bullpen guys, and it's been a hot rumor on Yankee Twitter that they've been pumping, like, oh, the Rays and the Yankees really match up well as trade partners.
They do.
They have a lot of lefty relievers because I feel like lefty relievers number one on the wish list for the Yankees. Like, that has to be that and a right-handed bat. Brandon Lau. Another guy, Gavin Lux, quietly having a decent year, kind of plays everywhere for Cincinnati, played second for the Dodgers. Think that would be a really good pickup. And I've said that one. Isaac Paredes' train is dead. Like, I'm killing the train off today.
Houston's going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. And how about Bryce Harper? I know you like him a lot. You know, Milwaukee is struggling. They're kind of not really going anywhere. He's on a really cheap deal. He is young. They might want to move out from him and, you know, acquire some pieces. And like you said, he kind of fits the mold of what the Yankees have been looking for this year, like looking for high-quality defensive middle infield players.
I don't think there's okay. So I don't think any of these are going to happen.
You don't? Why? What you think so? You don't think Tampa's going to? Because the way here's my explanation. The way I see it is like this. I see the AL. Well, Yankees are going to win the AL East. I see the Central or the West getting the other wild card, the wild cards. Okay, so that leaves.
Well, yeah,
that leaves.
yeah.
Okay, and then in the NL, the Central teams won't make the playoffs. They just won't because the West is so good and the East is so good. So where do the Brewers and Reds go?
I have a take on that, but I'll hold it for later.
But I'm just saying, like the Giants, the Padres, the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves are all going to be involved. And I know we've had some regression to the mean with the West teams, but I just don't think none of those teams are good enough. Like, I don't think the Reds or the Brewers are good enough to make the playoffs.
I think you're disrespecting Tampa. They're 2 games back in the wild card in the American League right now. They've won 7 of 8 games. I think organizationally, Tampa is convincing themselves that they have a chance at making the playoffs. They haven't even had Shane McClanahan pitch this year, who's arguably their best pitcher.
We won't know if he pitches. And here's my other thing, and we'll just do this with Tampa. I'm going to ask you a question and pick a team. Tampa or Minnesota?
Tampa.
Okay. Tampa or Cleveland?
Probably Cleveland, but Cleveland can't pitch. Like, that's more of a push.
Okay. Cleveland or Detroit?
Well, Detroit. Detroit's the best team in the American League right now.
Cleveland or Kansas City? No, Kansas City or Tampa?
Probably Kansas City, but they can't hit.
Okay, well,
all these teams are flawed.
Yeah, I know every team's flawed, but you already plays Tampa Bay as the 4th team. And this is the last thing I'll say before you continue. I say Tampa and Toronto are right on the same level. And I think the Red Sox will play, like, as bad as the Red Sox have been, I think they'll play a piece in this, but continue.
I just want to go through the terrain and the Lux and the Lau reasons why I don't think they're going to get traded. The main reason with Tampa is I think the organization is going to – I'm not saying they will make the playoffs. I'm saying organizationally they are going to convince themselves that they have a chance at making the playoffs. So I don't think – and I also just don't think Tampa would want to trade with an in-division rival. Lau, positionally, yeah, he would be a nice fit. I think the most likely one is Gavin Lux because I don't think the Reds are going to be in the conversation in the playoffs in the National League. He has, if you look at his contract, 1 more year of arbitration next year, and then he's a free agent. So it's not too big of a commitment from both the Yankee side and the Red side. He is a more realistic trade partner or a trade piece for Cincinnati, who kind of has an abundance of infielders anyways, he would be a nice piece. Plays strong-ish defense. At least he has a strong arm. Maybe not side-to-side, laterally, the best defender. His chase rates are good. He's hitting 291, so he hits for average. Savant suggests he's getting a little bit lucky. I do think he would be an upgrade over Peraza for sure. If you look at Bryce Turang, I just don't think there's any chance Milwaukee trades Bryce Turang. He has 4 more years of arbitration. He's a platinum glove winner. He kind of fits the mold of what Milwaukee is trying to do organizationally. Good defense. Maybe not going to be the best bat, but he won a freaking platinum glove. And he has a lot of years under control. We know that Milwaukee doesn't pay their players, so they have to keep the guys that they develop internally and lock them down until they get into free agency. And then ultimately they probably trade them the year before free agency. So I think Bryce Turang is a stereotypical Brewers player. I would be stunned if they trade him with 4 more years of control left. I would, as a player, I would love him on the Yankees. He's an elite glove.
You put him as a leadoff guy with speed too. I say you throw Spencer Jones in the Clarke Schmidt form. Maybe.
You mean you throw Spencer Jones in a trade?
And Clarke Schmidt for Bryce Turang. Because think about it. And I read this tweet, and it makes a whole lot of sense. Whenever you're going for great baseball players, it's give away the elite prospects and the great prospects for great baseball players. Because there's so many few great baseball players. There's a lot of great prospects, but great major leaguers. There's not a great major leaguers.
Agreed. I'm certainly, if I was a GM, I wouldn't be married to a lot of these prospects. But if you look at what Spencer Jones is doing right now in AA, he's hitting 228. Does have 9 home runs on the season, so he has a 926 OPS, which is really impressive. It's only been 92 at bats, but I think he's still pretty far away. I don't know if he fits what the Brewers are looking for organizationally. And I do think, though, the Yankees will probably package Jones and Schmidt most likely in a trade this year. If I had to pinpoint 2 guys, if we're making a big move, because that would be theoretically a big haul in return. Lombard's untouchable at this point because I think he's the shortstop of the future.
Well, it's just interesting what they do. But to wrap this with a bow, I just think the Arcia things just really shows their hand. It's just they'll take pretty much anything to upgrade right now. Any competent major leaguer, if you've had any competent experience at the major league level, they will take you. They're, just to upgrade.
Yeah, I agree. It does show their hand a little bit, but for as much hate as Peraza might get with the bat, which maybe justified, he hasn't been great there. He is playing really good defense at third.
He is, but can we also talk about JC Escara? I know I talked about it earlier, but I love this guy. JC Escara is becoming quickly one of my favorite players in the majors. This dude is like I said, a framing wizard. The curveballs that he was getting called, they were a ball or 2 away from the plate. He was getting them called in the zone. Did you see the highlights from last night? How he was framing again?
He's an elite framer. It's not a debate. I saw the video you sent me on Twitter. I can't remember who posted it, but they were talking about how he's one of the best framers in the sport. If you look at his fan graphs, he ranks in the 87th percentile in framing. He's a great defensive catcher. The bat isn't great, but I think the bat is serviceable. And it's not like Wells, and we talked about this on Monday. It's not like Wells is doing anything to blow you away right now. So, Escara has been a pleasant surprise. Alex Jackson, actually, interestingly enough, the guy that was battling him for the starting spot or the backup spot in spring training, has been strong this year in the minor leagues. I think he's hitting above 300. I was just looking at it last night. He's hitting 310 right now in AAA with 8 home runs. So a 1.047 OPS. Alex Jackson, he could be in a trade package too if teams are looking for a catcher.
Right now the Yankees and catchers, what a duo. It's like pepperoni on pizza. It's an incredible duo. You can't go wrong with it. Yankees have developed Alex Jackson, Austin Wells, Jose Trevino, Kyle Higashioka, And now Carlos Navarez. Carlos Navarez was in the Yankee system till this winter. That's probably the only like bad move like that Cashman did, trading him for Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who's been really good. Oh, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz has been really good, but not like Carlos Navarez, who's in Rookie of the Year conversations.
They also developed Agustin Ramirez, who's on the Marlins now.
Hey, catcher, you and Joe talk about a lot of football, college football, and there's debates on who wide receiver you is. I think catcher university is the New York Yankees right now. Like the way they're pumping out catchers, like surplus catchers. And I'll close the whole JC Escara thing. Entering Wednesday, which was yesterday, JC Escara had converted 51.6% of non-swing pitches into called strikes in StatCast's shadow zone. That's the best rate of any catcher in Major League Baseball this season. Minimum 300 pitches caught.
It's elite.
And the Yankees now are 20-1 when allowing 2 runs or fewer. And the Yankees are now 16-5 in their last 21, winning 2 of 3 versus the Padres, 2 of 3 versus the A's, 2 of 3 versus the Mariners, 2 of 3 with the Mets, sweeping the Rangers and the Angels, and then 2 out of 3 with the Rockies. So, we know what they're looking for trade-wise. We know DJ and Jazz is coming back. DJ might be on the way out just with how things are going. Grade the week, the last 3, William. What did you learn? Main takeaway, the closest segment out.
Main takeaway, I said it earlier, I think, is the pitching it's right now elite. This team is going to struggle at some point. They're playing their best baseball right now so far of the season. The fact that they've built such a lead in the American League East, they're 7 games up right now, has built them a cushion to allow for those struggles in June, July, August, whenever they come and they have a 500 month or something. That is going to happen. We know the Yankees have done this in years past. Every team does it. It's impossible to play this well all season. It's just a weird sport that way. So expect the struggles to come, but the pitching has been incredible. And before we get out on the Yankees, I just want to note the Carlos Rodón pitch usage. Really interesting graphic. I was watching MLB Tonight last night. Rodon's first year with the Yankees, he came in as a fastball slider guy. It was fastball 60% of the time, slider 29% of the time, and then very small percentages for the curveball and the changeup. Similar usage last year, except the changeup use did tick up from 4% in 23 to 12% in 2024. This year, he is a much more of a balanced pitcher. We talked about it in the past, but the fastball usage is all the way down to 41%. The slider usage is at 28%, so pretty consistent there. But most importantly, the changeup usage is all the way up to 16%. And that's becoming an out pitch for him. He's getting hitters out low in the zone with that changeup. And he's much more of a pitcher than just a guy trying to blow the ball by you. And huge for the Yankees, huge for his confidence. He's adjusted to New York, it seems like finally. He's found a groove. I'm really excited to see how the rest of his season goes. He's not starting against the Dodgers. He is going against Cleveland next week. I think on the Tuesday game. So great season for Rodón so far.
Well, I did read that he could pitch Sunday. They have an off day on Monday. And I think the biggest thing with Rodón is you talked about the changeup and I saw this the other night, is how he's tunneling it with the fastball. So perfect example was at the end of his outing, he pitched a fastball away at the edge of the zone, outside, perfectly on the black. And then he comboed it with a changeup, which it's pretty hard because they're both coming in the same, they said, tunnel. Mm-hmm. And the changeup just dropped and he got the out. So,
yeah, that's why I think the changeup is the hardest pitch to hit in the sport, because it looks like a good one looks like a fastball and then it's 5, 6, 7 miles an hour slower and it just drops off the table. And he's also learned to control his emotions a little bit better. We know he was a super emotional guy on the mound in years past. I mean, remember his first season with the Yankees? I think it was his first start when he was in Anaheim and he was gesturing to the fans. That's gone now. He's dialed in. Apparently he's been doing some work with the mental coach with the Yankees, and I think it's paying dividends. He's been a revelation this year for the Yankees. But that's enough Yankee talk. I think we should get to the rest of the league because we are 40 minutes in.
Yeah, I know, but let me wrap it up. they're saying also Rodón is being a great locker room guy, helping out guys like Tevin Williams through struggles and young guys like Will Warren. So, hey, maturation,
Yeah.
Yankees have the Dodgers this weekend at Dodger Stadium. We got Freed Gosselin tomorrow night. Saturday,
Apple TV
Plus. Saturday, Will Warren versus Landon Knack. And then Sunday, TBD. We think it's Yarbrough. I've seen that it could be Rodón, but I think they'll go Yarbrough versus Yamamoto. And, today's an off day. Penn gets a well-needed rest. They've been overworked. So, predictions for this weekend?
It's a tough series. This is a measuring stick series. Dodgers, I know they're not playing their best. The pitching has been meh. Ohtani's has 20 home runs, though. He's leading the league in home runs. I'm scared. I'm going to say Dodgers win 2 or 3. Yankees win Friday against Gonsolin. Got to get to Logan Knack on Saturday. And then I think they lose Sunday because Yamamoto is just elite. I'm excited to see Yamamoto go up against the Yankees again. What do you think the Yankees are doing in LA on their off day today? Malibu, Santa Monica. What are they doing?
Probably team bonding. Probably like Papa Judge is taking them out to dinner. Or they're doing like laser tag or something like that, something like that, like spa day in the morning, spa day, film, and then maybe Papa Judge is taking them out to dinner somewhere. I don't know.
Nothing touristy or anything.
I think they already been out there so many times.
Yeah,
they go there. They go to Anaheim every year. So like they were in OC. They probably switched hotels today, and they go up north up to. Whatever, maybe who knows? Who knows what MLB players do on their off day? I haven't encountered an MLB player out here in Miami on their off day, so like I don't know where they hide. So,
yeah, I don't know what they do. I've never seen any of them around either in Chicago, and we got a lot of baseball players here.
Yeah, no. Well, I would expect to run into one because I live fairly close to the stadium. I live only like 10, 15 minutes away, and like there's only certain spaces where they're going to go hang out in, and they're not there. So. Regardless, that was the week for the Yankees. Now we're going to wrap up the week, and we're going to take a deep dive into what happened in the majors. William, where do you want to start? I mean, do we want to start what's going up in Boston, the Boston-Milwaukee series? I feel like that's where the pulse of the AL East is right now. The mediocre Red Sox right now at this point.
I think we have to.
So to review, the Red Sox went up on Memorial Day and got swept by the Brewers. Brewers won 3-2 on Monday. Crochet gave a great start. Rob Refsnyder said, "We suck right now," after the game.
Yeah.
Tuesday, the Brewers won in 10 innings, 5-1, where Aroldis Chapman blew the save. And then there was a walk-off grand slam after it was tied 1-1 in the 10th off Liam Hendricks. And then yesterday, the Brewers won 6-5-10. Christian Campbell made an awful throw. And
that was terrible, man.
I don't know, man. Like the Red Sox might need a lot more. I mean, the Bregman injury really comes at a bad time. I just kind of feel like there's always a storyline going up in Boston. You expect it out of New York, but I feel like, something's always coming out in Boston. Like, what's going on?
They remind me a lot of the Yankees teams of years past in the sense that sure, they can hit for some power, especially when Bregman's in the lineup, which he's hurt now with the quad. But they play terrible defense. They're the worst defensive team in the league. And they are acting like they are a small market team with this Roman Anthony stuff. They're refusing to call him up. He's crushing AAA. He's too good for AAA. And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir with Red Sox fans, but Roman Anthony is shown that he is ready to make the major leagues. They didn't want to call up Marcelo Meyer either, and I guess this is like service time manipulation stuff. They didn't want to call up Meyer either, but Bregman got hurt, so they kind of had to. And, it's not a lock that Roman Anthony is going to be good in the major leagues. Like the adjustment from AAA to the majors is very, very big. But give the guy a chance. He's too good for AAA. Like I know Red Sox fans are screaming this from the mountaintops, but you're given that Trevor Story contract, and we'll do our bad contracts draft in August where we rank or we draft the worst contracts in the league. That Trevor Story contract is going to be one of the first selections that we have. I mean, $22.5 million this year, $25 million for the next 2 years after that. And if you look at what he's doing offensively, 218 batting average with a 581 OPS. If you look at his Savant page, everything is blue. Everything is blue. I mean, it looks like the state of California in presidential election results for the past century, right? Whatever. And he's playing terrible defense. We saw it firsthand in Fenway. I mean, noodle arm defense, with all due respect. He had the shoulder injuries in Colorado, and he's gotten hurt, banged up in Boston ever since. Chaim Bloom gave the contract out. I wasn't a fan of the deal when it happened. You look at it now, it's been an unmitigated disaster, that deal. And that deal is hampering them. The infield is blocked. If you look at Trevor Story's stats since he came over to Boston, and he came over in 2022, he's played 217 games in 4 seasons. He's hitting 228 with a 664 OPS, which is an 83 OPS plus, and he's accumulated a 4.1 baseball reference WAR in the 4 seasons that he's been in Boston. It's a disaster deal. And you have a guy like Roman Anthony waiting in the minor leagues. I don't know how you work it out positionally, but figure it out. Like, they have so much talent in the minor leagues. The MLB team is not good enough right now. There's pitching problems. The team's kind of a train wreck. For what we expected this team heading into the year, you were very high on them. I was more of a show me, make it happen first before I believe it attitude. And it seems just not good, man. They're not good. They might make the playoffs if they get hot, but right now I don't think they're going to be in it. They're not good fundamentally. And sorry, that was a long one. That was a long monologue.
I don't think it's the fundamental things. I just think, like, where's the production outside of Duran and Devers, and now that Bregman's gone? Like, I've said it. How many times did I tell you that weekend? How many times have I told you since? Like, they don't have any outside production, people getting on base and working it. I mean, yeah, Willie Abreu started out hot, but he's come down to earth. Carlos Nevares is decent, but, there's not much. Again, I fall into the debate. It was the Alex Bregman contract a good idea? Did they screw themselves by spending more money, not spending money early and going for it, than waiting out and growing organically and letting guys like Meyer and them come up? Because you already had Trevor Story on that monstrous deal. Like, why more? So, and you've created a whole Devers situation, which now, like, the offseason in Boston's not going to be fun. Like, if they don't make the playoffs, somebody's losing their head. And I don't think Cora loses their head because, like, you see the documentary, like, Cora did lose his job because of the whole scandal, but he got his job back. So I think ownership is going to keep him rather than the GM, or it's going to be, a put up or shut up year.
There's a lot of pressure on them next year. Their transfer or their offseason strategy kind of reminds me of, like, Chelsea's transfer strategy, in the sense that it's more of a just, let's get as much possible talent in as we can, and we'll figure out where we want to put them in the field. Because if you look at, like, signing Bregman made no sense. No sense. I mean, I get it was late in the year or late in the offseason. He was the best player available. You could get him on a deal that you liked, but you have so much talent coming up with Anthony, Meyer, Christian Campbell. Like, there's not really a spot for him. You have Devers in the infield. They should have gone out, if anything, and signed an outfielder. But you have Rafaela and Willier and Duran. Like, they're kind of blocked. You probably want Meyer to be your third baseman of the future, and you want Campbell in the infield there somewhere. And you got the Story contract, which is, he's making too much money to bench him, I guess. You don't want to have a guy that's making 25 mil on the bench. They're in a weird situation with this roster construction. I don't think they were really thinking, and this is probably the fact that they've had 2 different people running the front office through, like, that has helped build this roster. But it just, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like a blend of young dudes, an abundance of young dudes, and then an abundance of old guys that are getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, to me, on paper, when you look at the Red Sox 2030, they look great. Because you have catcher Nevares, probably. You have, other than Nevares, at first you have Casas, Campbell, Meyer, Devers, and then the outfield is some combination of Abreu, Rafaela, Duran, And then whoever doesn't play defense out there, Roman Anthony DH. Just spend on pitching. But like you said, I think it's a thing where you had two different visions for where their team's going. But, good win for the Brewers. We keep it moving. Let's touch on a couple quick series. Cubs played the Rockies at home on Memorial Day. Ended up sweeping them 3-1 on Monday, 4-3 and 11 on Tuesday, and 2-1 on Wednesday. PCA hit a freaking Javi Baez-esque home run, a foot off of the ground with the curveball out of the zone, homer 15. 21 straight series losses for the Rockies. It is bleak out there in Colorado.
21 straight?
Yes.
They haven't won a series. Wow. So that dates back to last season.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't played 21 series yet this year. That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, they had a chance on Sunday.
They had a chance on Sunday. They won. Yeah, they did. And, a lot of these games against the Cubs were close. But, yeah, Cubs kind of TCB. They've had a super easy month in terms of scheduling. But, it makes up for the brutal April. They had good team in Chicago. PCA continues to amaze. He's been better than Carroll this month.
Yeah. Reds at the Royals in Kansas City. Reds won the series 2 out of 3. Reds won 7-4 on Monday. Then they put 7 on Tuesday, 7-2. Ellie went 2 homers, solo nights. Again, you said it best. The pitching is good, but if Ellie's not playing like MVP level, the Reds are screwed. And then Wednesday, the Royals actually won. Noah Cameron, 6 1/3, 1 earned, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's the second pitcher since 1893 with 6 1/3 innings pitched and 1 or less run in each of his 4 starts. Hunter Green came back, but he's just not sharp yet. 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. What do you think about that, my friend?
Yeah, battle of the good shortstops, the good young shortstops, Ellie and Bobby Witt. I think Ellie's been a little disappointing this season. The strikeouts are still really bad. He's at 28% strikeout rate. He was at 31% last year, so that is down a tick. But 256 average. He does have 11 home runs, finished with 25 last year, so maybe he beats his pace from last season. 17 stolen bases, but a 773 OPS. Like a lot of people were picking Ellie to win MVP this year. He's just not there yet. He's still super young, 23 years old, so has a lot of time to develop. And I do think he will get there eventually, but it doesn't seem like this is going to be the year. And unfortunately for the Reds, they need him to be an MVP candidate if they want to make the playoffs, because they don't have anybody else in that lineup that's even of remote caliber of Ellie. So yeah, I mean, like TJ Friedl is having a good year, but Reds are just mid, man. They're going to be 500 all season long, I think.
Or it's just Ellie. This could just probably be Ellie, final form, maybe. Who knows?
No, he's 23, man. The speed's going to be there.
In other news, Sacramento went to Houston. Houston beat the A situation on Tuesday, 11-1. Hunter Brown was strong. Only gave up a solo shot to Lawrence Butler on Tuesday. Pitched 6 strong, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned. And then Wednesday, McCullers had 12 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned. Jacob Wilson had a homer again. He's had a little power surge come in, but the Astros won 5-3. Then another West series to talk about that ends today. You have the Mariners. They won 9-1 on Tuesday. And then yesterday, the Nationals won 9-0. George Kirby came back and gave up 6 last night in his second start back. Thoughts on a little West recap right there.
Jacob Wilson's 7 home runs on the season. I would not have predicted that at all. So that's good for him. A's have been struggling big time, though. Astros sweep that 2-game set, and the Astros have been playing good baseball. They are in the mix. They currently hold the second wild card spot in the American League right now. So, Houston, Seattle could be battling for the West this season. I don't think Houston is as good as they have been in years past, but they're playing good baseball in May. And then Washington, James Wood. I mean, dude, is James Wood like
home run derby?
Home run derby for sure. is he working himself into like MVP caliber production? We're talking 287 average right now, 949 OPS, 15 homers.
No.
Savant Page is a sea of red.
That Nationals still stink. They're mid. Nationals are just mid.
They don't stink. They're mid. They're pesky. They're not a team, like they're not a fun lineup to go through with Abrams, with Wood. Wood is one of the best power bats in the sport.
Yeah.
22 years old. He's not going to win the MVP.
No.
He might get votes.
No.
He might get votes.
Okay, he's going to get votes over PCA, Bryce Harper.
Not first place votes, just second, third, fourth, fifth
in
place.
general, regardless, but it's okay. Atlanta and Philadelphia finished their series today. They had a postponement last night, so they'll do a double. They played Tuesday. Phillies won 2-0. Ranger Suarez had a nice start, 6 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. Harper got hit by Strider at his elbow, but x-rays came back negative. How are we feeling about that?
Not much to go off on this series because it's still in progress with the doubleheader today, but Strider drilling Harper. Would you go, if you're the Phillies, would you retaliate?
Oh, 100%. That's the number one guy. He's the breadwinner on the team. You got to protect the big man. It's like if somebody hits Judge, you got to hit him right back. Nobody hits the captain.
I think you're probably right. I wouldn't be shocked if we see some retaliation today.
Let's get it.
The Braves can't. The Braves, ugh, not good.
No good. Let's talk about another couple quick series before we get into some deep dives. Minnesota at Tampa. Tampa won 2 out of 3. Rays won on Monday and Wednesday. Twins won 4-2. Again, another battle of mid. What else we got?
Wait. Did you see Cody Clemens' home run directly into the center field camera well?
Yeah, but are we going to remember that in the offseason?
No, but I mean, what are the odds of that happening?
Yeah, but are we going to remember the Twins? It's a battle of mid. Toronto at Texas. Blue Jays won 2 out of 3. Blue Jays had a pinch hit home run last night by Bo Bichette. Texas got 1 hit yesterday in a bullpen day by Toronto. Let's talk about it. I think there's some problems in Texas.
They can't hit. We talked about that last time. They can't hit. And Seager's back. Came back earlier. I think it was Tuesday in this series. But they lose Jock Peterson in return. They're just not good enough offensively right now. And yeah, if you bullpen games can be challenging because you're getting different looks throughout the entire game. But 29th in average, 30th in OPP, 30th in OPS, 28th in runs. Like, no one expected the Rangers lineup to be this bad. This is insane. Insane.
Could you have believed that the rotation would have been one of the best in the game and that their bats would have been like absolute worst, like polar opposites?
Number one in starting pitching ERA in baseball. And Evaldi left Monday's start with right triceps fatigue, which that feels like me after, this was Tuesday. Feels like me after a gym session where I'm hitting tries. It seems like he's not going to miss time. We'll see. The Rangers pen did a good job, 7 scoreless in relief on that game, but then shut out again on Wednesday. It's something to watch. Like Texas, they're hovering around 500. They're 3 under right now, but 4.5 back. They could be sellers at the deadline if things continue to go south, and they have a lot of pieces I think people would have interest in.
Let me guess. What would you buy? Josh Smith?
Josh Smith in the conversation. If you look at their free agents, Chris Martin, Hoagie Milner, Luke Jackson, Patrick Corbin, I think would be an arm that people target at the trade deadline. Sean Armstrong, maybe a Jock Peterson. You talked about him going to a different team and just going nuclear, but now he's injured. But if he can get back healthy, John Gray's a free agent. Tyler Malley's a free agent, been one of the best pitchers in the league. I think he would be somebody that teams look at. Jonah Heim, 1 year of ARB and then a free agent. So there's dudes on this roster that
Jacob DeGrom.
DeGrom, yeah, he's on a huge contract though.
Do you think Papa Cohen gets crazy and just tries to save the season and goes for DeGrom?
I would love that. Jacob DeGrom back with the Mets, different ownership group. throwback. He's been great this year.
But do you think? That's such a Steve Cohen move, just to be like, let's inject it on how bad Juan Soto has been. Like, we need some positive copium, like, to build like some good spirit in the fan base right now. Like, we'll just go ahead and talk about that series. I mean, the White Sox gave the Mets all they could handle. Mets won 2 out of 3, but they won 2-1 on Monday off a walk-off sac fly against the White Sox. Mets won on Tuesday 6-4. And then White Sox won 9-4 yesterday. What's going on in Queens, my guy? Let's talk about it. I mean, do they need a Jacob deGrom to, it's the White Sox. Like,
series win. One of the best teams in the league. No worries about the Mets. Juan Soto will figure it out. They got one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. I thought a good takeaway from this series was what Miguel Vargas is doing for Chicago. He started out terribly. Month of May, 217 average, 598 OPS. Month of April, sorry. But if you're looking at what he's doing in May, 275, 948 OPS, 7 home runs in May, 17 ribbies, which is a lot for a team that doesn't get a lot of runners on base, 9 doubles. And he's made a simple adjustment of just bringing his hands a little bit higher in his stance. I think he has a lot of years of control left for the White Sox, but that's a name that at the trade deadline teams, maybe the White Sox have something, man. Maybe they have some pieces that they can build around.
I've always been a fan, and you know that I've been a Miggy Vargas fan. Like, I've been a fan of him since the Dodger days. But he's 15th in Fangraphs WAR, 9th in WRC+, 10th in weighted on-base average, 11th in ISO, 6th in slugging, and 10th in OPS since April 22nd. Talk about it.
Like I said, I think the White Sox might have a little core going on, and they have a loaded farm system.
I'm telling you, that's a building block. But no concerns about the Mets?
No concerns about the Mets. Why are people why are people manufacturing this fear about the Mets? Like, it's May 29th. They're 34-22, 2 games behind the Phillies in the division. Juan Soto has been struggling. Sure, it's 2 months. He's too good to play like this the entire season. He'll be fine. Like, let's just all take a big breath and relax on the Mets. It's going to be okay. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to have a chance at winning it. People will forget about the whole Juan Soto had struggles in April and May and when they're in the championship series.
When he's currently hitting 194 in his last 25 games.
25 game sample size. Like, we can pick out any sample size of any player and be like, wow, this guy stinks. Aaron, like you earlier in the podcast, we're trying to say that Aaron Judge is going to struggle because he's getting walked a lot.
I'm just saying there's a little slump. Slumps happen.
Yeah. Soto is too good of a hitter, but that his batter's eye is going to be with him his whole career. So he's fine.
Okay. We'll see. I think what I want to discuss is Pittsburgh and Arizona. Very interesting series. The Pirates won the series 2 out of 1. I mean, talk about Tuesday
2 out of 3.
night. Talk about Tuesday night where the Pirates scored 9 unanswered against the Diamondbacks bullpen. We knew the bullpen was bad. I mean, they had a Corbin Burns 7-inning start with 2 earned, but man, the bullpen was abysmal. Reynolds had a 3-run homer that gave the lead, and it was a 7-run inning. The Pirates were 0 for 29 when trailing through 7. And the D-backs did not have a base runner after Josh Naylor's RBI single in the 4th. They were retired 17 straight. And then yesterday they faced Paul Skeens. Zach Gallen got roughed up for 5. Like, I'm telling you right now, Arizona is giving me a lot of parallels on the Mariners from last year. You remember when the Mariners started out really hot and they were in the mix? I think there's going to be a fall guy if this continues. I think the manager, Torla Luvu, will be the guy that will take the blame for this. They have Washington coming up. That is not an easy series. And then they have Atlanta. I say if they lose Washington, if they lose 2 out of 3 versus both Washington and Atlanta, and it doesn't get better by the Reds, I think this might be a situation where we might see a manager losing his job again. They've fallen 7 games behind the division. In the wild card, they're firmly behind the Brewers, the Reds, and the Braves are out there lurking. clearly interesting to see again, which could be a Substack article that we may collaborate with in the future, how the Arizona has been constructed as a roster. Arizona has been constructed on high-priced pitching with Corbin Burns, Eduardo Rodriguez, Jordan Montgomery. And has that translated into wins? Not so much. And it just brings so many parallels from that Mariners team that started off really, really great to start out the year, and then just completely like train tracks fell off. Bullpen stinks. Their high-priced pitching can't pitch that well. The only guy pitching well is Corbin Burns, and they're losing games against the Pirates. And that's something of clear concern.
Yeah, I don't know how you lose the series to the Pirates. I mean, Tuesday was a devastating loss. You're up big, and then they score 9 unanswered. Like, the bullpen is just terrible. Terrible. They have a great rotation, but the bullpen ranks 27th in ERA right now. Zach Allen hasn't been good in that rotation. Erod hasn't been good. Like you said, the only pitcher that's been strong is Corbin Burns. Carroll has cooled off a little bit as expected. Eugenio Suarez, like, the lineup is still producing. They're high up in all those hitting category stats, but I don't know. Like, are they sellers? This is my World Series champion, and it could be a bad couple months, and they could, like, this is a team that could get hot, but you just can't lose series to the Pirates. They got destroyed yesterday. I know it was Paul Skeens, but 10-1 against the Pirates. Like, you had Zach Allen on the mound. He's in theory your second best pitcher, and nothing. Like, he was bad again.
My thing is they're 3-7 in their last 10. Like, they got to be better. Like, this team is just better than what their record is, but they're just not showing it. And I just feel like, again, we're in a situation where there's going to be a scapegoat, like Baltimore. And I feel with all the young pieces that they have, I think we're going to have a situation where they probably sell some of these older guys. And I know I keep bringing up Eugenio Suarez as a trade chip, Merrill Kelly, incoming free agents. And with how the market is, there's going to be a decent return for him. So that's just my thing. I mean, shout out to the Pirates. Like, you're not the talk of the worst this week.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Pittsburgh had a good week for sure, winning that series. But the story out of this one is Arizona. They need bullpen help. They need to, I don't know, like, they have the talent. They just need to play better baseball. And I think you're right. Like, traditionally, the fall guy is the manager.
If they don't get it right by the Braves, if they lose the next 2 series, I think if it's not by the Reds, I think by the Mariners. Okay. And they have to do it. I mean, I said it with Brandon Hyde, and look what happened. Like, they got to get it together. Could it just be a fluky run? Potentially. We'll see. Miami at San Diego. San Diego won 2 out of 3. Gavin Sheets is on his hair. Sandy Alcantara, man. How have the mighty have fallen? I mean, it's tough. His arm may be made for the glue factory at this point.
4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks. His savant page is grim. He's got an 8.47 ERA. This was supposedly, I mean, they should have traded this dude before the season, man. I mean, what a lost opportunity for the Marlins. His trade value has tanked. Sea of blue on his savant page. K rate 16 percentile, which is, obviously really bad. Walk rate 12 percentile. He's walking guys 12% of the time. 2022, was it 2022 he won the Cy Young, or 23? Either way, 5.6 walk rate was much better then. Now it's way down. Like, everything is just down. The fastball velo is still good, which whoop-de-doo, but it's not doing him any good, man. It's unfortunate, because I actually, the Marlins do have some good young talent. They had a nice win yesterday, and they should have won on Tuesday. They went up 6-0 in the first inning, but the Padres battled back. The Padres won on Monday. This could have easily been a sweep for the Marlins. And you talked about the NL West earlier, and I said I was going to bring it up later. You've been talking about NL West is going to be there. NL West is going to be there. All these teams are elites. Giants, Padres, Dodgers. Dodgers will be there for sure. But if you look at what these teams have been doing in May, Padres 12-12, a perfect 500. Giants 12-13, losing record in the month of May. Diamondbacks 11-15, losing record in the month of May. It's been a pretty bang average division this month. I actually think the Central with the Cardinals could push some of these teams. I think we could see the Braves get hot in the East and push some of these teams. The Mets will get a wild card spot in the East. I could see a world in which the NL West only gets one playoff team. And I know things change month to month. Like you could win at a 600 clip one month and then be 500 the rest of the way, maybe a tick above 500 and make the playoffs. Like it only really takes 1 or 2 good months to get you in the playoffs and then play 500 baseball the rest of the way. But I think we could see some below 500 months for the Giants, Padres, and D-backs.
I mean, having the Padres and the D-backs out of the picture would really help the trade deadline. I mean, you'd see guys like Dylan Cease and probably traded. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, alarm bells are going off in San Diego and in Arizona. I mean, the Marlins gave everything they could this weekend. The games were drunk. There was home runs, strikeouts, outfield assists. Like everything happened during the series. Like they were pretty nutty games.
If you look at Fangraphs projections to make the playoffs in the NL West, Dodgers 97% chance they'll be in. But if you look at the other teams, Fangraphs only gives San Diego a 45% chance to make the playoffs. San Francisco 42%. Arizona 32%. 34%. I don't know, man. Interesting times. Interesting thing to watch this year, I think.
I mean, San Francisco just got swept. I mean, but it's the Tigers. I mean, the Tigers are doing B to A to anybody. I mean, the only big notable thing in this series is that Riley Green's having a great May and that Jackson Jobe, the Velo's been kind of down. It could be a sign that, that he could be getting demoted because they do have Alex Cobb coming back. Again, he wasn't there in the post game. Velo's down. Could he be hurt? Alex Cobb getting healthy? I don't know. Might have to ask Andrew after the pod. Going on, but
Riley Green's hitting 290 in May, 925 OPS, 6 homers, 22 ribbies, 7 doubles. He's been good, man. He's been back to where I think the Tigers want him at. So they just continue to win baseball games. It's crazy. I mean, they're
a team, man. They're just call it as it. They're a good baseball team.
Yeah, and they got Kansas City and then Chicago. So Kansas City this weekend and then a 4-game set in Chicago next week.
Sox, Cubs.
Cubs. And then they actually play the Sox right after that next weekend. So could see some more separation in that division. They're 6 ahead of the Guardians in the Central.
Then final 2 series, Dodgers won 2 out of 3. Dodgers won Monday 7-2. Dodgers won Tuesday 9-5. And then the Guardians won yesterday. Kershaw start, who had a really good start. He pitched 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned, and 3 strikeouts on 74 pitches. So there's still like a little ramp up going on with Kershaw. Talk about how good he still is at this age in his season, in his career. Like the dude has been an absolute unit, like first ballot Hall of Famer. In Clayton Kershaw's start yesterday, he allowed 0 runs or 1 run in 47% of his career starts, including yesterday's, which is 204 out of 432. That is the highest percentage among 310 pitchers to debut in the modern era since 1901, with at least 300 starts. The next closest guy is Chris Sale at 40.9%, which is close to a 7% difference.
I mean, yeah, he's a first ballot dude. Incredible. My question for you is, with the Dodgers pitching injuries, will Clayton Kershaw get a playoff start this year for the Dodgers?
I think that's why he was given another contract and he comes back. I think he's the guy to get the job done. It's like you see in the past, like with the Cardinals, you see Adam Wainwright. Adam Wainwright was not that great in his final Cardinal years, but he got playoff games. Like he is your steady Eddie. he is the guy that's going to like right the ship and make sure everything is under control. He is a wildly veteran. I think their rotation in the playoffs will be something consisting of Kershaw and Yamamoto. And then the third spot is whoever's hot at that point. We could see Dustin May, as it could be a bullpen day. I really like the Dodgers Kasparis guy, Ben Kasparis.
Yeah.
I like his stuff a lot. So Kasparius. So we'll see. But I do think Kershaw will be there.
I think he might get a playoff start too. I mean, Glasnow, no idea if he's going to be healthy. Snell, no idea if he's going to be healthy. Those guys haven't pitched in a while at this point. The only guaranteed starter in that rotation in the playoffs, if healthy right now, is Yamamoto. He's been one of the best pitchers in the National League, in the league. He's like your, game one starter. But other than that, it's a bunch of question marks. Same with the bullpen. Tanner Scott, another blown save. He's been struggling.
How about Roki? You think Roki gets a start in the playoffs?
Not this year. I think Roki could do with some time in the minors, just developing. In the future, yeah.
Send Roki out to Oklahoma City? Poor Roki, man. Like, really, why?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
He's like about the OKC.
Yeah.
So, finally, the last series of the week, St. Louis at Baltimore. The Cardinals won the series. Mason Wynn exploded yesterday in 6-4 victory, 4-for-5 day. Brendan Donovan, 3-for-5, 1 homer. Cardinals won Tuesday, 7-4. O'Hearn's been on fire. Could be a trade candidate. Been on a tear. I just picked him up in fantasy. And then Monday, the Orioles won 5-2. Orioles probably going to be a selling team. Going to be interesting to see what they do with Felix Bautista, Ryan O'Hearn, and Cedric Mullins. Could be dudes that get traded at the deadline.
Yeah, definitely going to be sellers. It'll be interesting to see what they do this year. O'Hearn's the only guy that's hitting on that team, really. Jackson Holliday's been better, but O'Hearn's hitting .338 through 185 plate appearances, 9 homers, 977 OPS. He's been outstanding for them. Nice pickup for you in fantasy, respect. But I think the biggest story from this series is the Cardinals, man. That's a team that just battles.
I'm telling you, we got to get Alden on the podcast to talk about how good the Cardinals have been this year. Is the Ollie Marmol? Is this group chat still named Fire Ollie Marmol? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly. They fell down early against Sagano yesterday. I think it was like 4-0. Super rainy, ugly game. And they come back and win 6-4. Mason Wynn, 4-for-5. Brendan Donovan, home run. He's been really good for them. And then on Tuesday, they were down 4-3 after 6, but they got to the Orioles pen. Mason Wynn, single RBI. Nolan Arenado, homer to take the lead. Jordan Walker, triple. Mason Wynn, single. And then Helsley closes it out. Like, this is a team. Everyone around baseball is just talking about the Cubs, praising the Cubs for what they've been doing this year. And rightfully so, the Cubs have been a good baseball team. The Cardinals have just quietly kind of been under the radar, continue to play good baseball. They're 11 games over 500 right now. They've maintained pace with the Cardinals, or with the Cubs in the Central. They're only 3 games back right now. Fangraphs only gives them a 42% chance of making the playoffs, but I think they have the pitching to stay. The lineup is banging right now. Their young dudes are producing. Walker, Wynn. Lars Nootbaar's had a good season that no one's really talking about. Ivan Herrera's had a good season. No one's talking about William Contreras. No one's talking about the Cardinals in general, and they just continue to win baseball games. They have Texas this weekend, a team that can't hit, and Kansas City, and then they got the Dodgers. I can't wait until the Cardinals play the Cubs. That's going to be an electric series. It's in June. I think the 2nd or 3rd week of June. It's going to be a great series this year. Like we talked about how Yankees-Red Sox might be back this year. Cardinals-Cubs might be electric this season.
Are we sticking a fork in the Rangers this weekend if the Cardinals do work this weekend?
It's so hard to do that in the wild card series era, but it'd be getting close.
Life support.
They're definitely on life support.
So that wraps up the week. William, anything to close out today? Any news and notes, Substack articles coming soon? What's the move coming in content-wise?
Continue to follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Substack, work in progress. Luis is smiling there. Looks like a AI bot right now. Thanks for listening as always, guys. Appreciate you very much. This was a fun one. Just talk baseball no gimmicks, no all-century teams, no nothing, just an hour and a half basically of straight baseball from this week. So that I love. We love watching baseball. We're in the middle of the year. It's just, I think we're like a third of the way there. So it's been a great season so far. I think this could be a very fascinating season the rest of the way. So I'm excited to cover it with you.
Yeah, we're a third way. We're close to a third. We're right near the 1/3 mark of the season. So it was good chatting with you, my guy. Good chatting.
It was good chatting. We'll be back on Monday, recapping Yankees-Dodgers in the weekend of baseball. Enjoy it. Luis, have a great weekend. I got a wedding this weekend to go to.
Wedding. You got a wedding? Where you wedding in Chicago? That'll be fun.
It's in Louisville, Kentucky, actually.
Louisville. That'll be fun. So you're going to pass through Cincinnati again? Or no, you'll go through Indianapolis.
Go through an Indy. Yeah, about a 4 or so hour drive, I think. 4 or 5 hours. 5 hours. So driving there Saturday, coming back Sunday night or Sunday morning. So should be fun.
You're missing the Saturday night game, but you'll have the game on at the bottom. You see?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much I'm able to catch of the Saturday game. I will try to have it on my phone before Kayla kills me, but no.
Hey, we'll just do this. To close out. On Twitter they talk about how the worst time to get married is wedding season's in the fall, and like how some people get married on a Saturday. Usually you get married on a Saturday. But then they'll have like LSU, Alabama. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be safe that William will get married in the fall. Like whenever he gets married, it'll be in the fall.
In the fall?
Yeah.
Why?
Because not during baseball season. Like he won't get married during the freaking Yankee game. Like if it's Yankees-Red Sox, like.
See, I actually am going to get married in the spring, I think, because I don't want to miss college football. There's only 12 games in the regular season. Baseball, there's a million games. I'm okay missing one Yankee game to get married. Like that's fine, but I don't want to miss the Michigan games.
You'll get married during the Michigan bye week.
We'll schedule it during the Michigan bye week and try to schedule it, or if around some of these big games that growing up, people are going to be watching those games. Like growing up in the South, people are going to be watching those games at your wedding. You don't want that distraction. I'm telling you. It's more about the guests. I want the guests fully invested. And I know that I have a lot of friends, family that are big college football fans. No one's going to be paying attention to the wedding if Alabama's playing LSU.
Hey, I'm just thankful that my friends that are getting married this fall are getting married on a Sunday. Well, Sunday's actually bad because it's NFL Sunday.
That's
Sunday,
okay.
The Saints suck, so I won't give a crap. Like I just
exactly
do Sunday and a Friday. So
no college football. You'll miss no college football.
I'll probably miss the Saints game, but they stink anyways.
Who cares? They didn't get a single primetime game. I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Hey, shrug them oysters, baby. And with that wraps up the week of Locke'd In Sports podcast for baseball. Without further ado, my name is Luis, and we have William here. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, aka X, YouTube, and Instagram, and keep it locked.
Indeed. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.